Alright. I have some interesting news, and yeah, I decided after all this, I'm not feeling really tired yet anyway. But I thought I'd share another story in which I have actually done, and this is somewhat of a tribute to my idol Shotaro Ishinomori, as this is an original piece that I've written up and I'm still working on. Is one of my current projects that I'm still doing, well, in between doing let's plays and all that, and my other novels and such. So this is an original piece done by yours truly, Ichigo Musko, and I entitled it "The Legend of the Four Forgotten Riders." It is done in 4 parts, and of course, they tell the stories of 4 forgotten Kamen Riders. 4 Kamen Riders that I feel deemed necessary to be called a Kamen Rider. Just because. And the backstory of it is very interesting because I really thought about this one day, and it just came to me. I don't know how, but it just came to me. Because there are 4 writers that I basically just pretty much figured what kind of makes sense. I was really inspired by watching Kamen Rider ZO one day. And I said, I might as well, the way it was done and everything else, it was pretty good. So, yeah. The 4 writers that I am currently writing about are in order: Onimusha, Blackjack, Harrier, and EXE, or Circuit. So I figured, well, since after all that's been said and done, and it kind of has been one of those days that I really can't sleep anyway. I will eventually sleep, but don't worry about it. I figure it's time for me to share another story that I have been working on, and yes, this is one I basically just put a lot of thought and effort into on paper. So I hope you enjoy this fanfic, as well as me just writing it all out and putting the time in and patience into all this. Now, mind you, it's not a really big story like Legacy is, but it's just as good considering that it's part of a series. So I'm going to read you a few excerpts, or rather a few chapters of it for your perusal. So let me start off with this. Beginning now. The Legacy of the 4 Forgotten Riders, Part 1. Hero of the Feudal Era, Kamen Rider Onimusha. In a world thrown in darkness, one man shall be a hero. Chapter 1. Path of Tragedy. 10th year of Tensho. After the fall of the Emperor Nobunaga Oda, Japan was still in the grip of evil. Demons still roamed the land, but they were nothing compared to a force more threatening today: humankind, particularly bandits. One such town has suffered greatly of the threat was Kiseki, a small province somewhere on the outskirts of Uedo. They lived in fear because of them, especially the Yoma class. Their strength was beyond normal, and to the police they were around, they could do nothing about them. The man that was the host of this brand of madness is Toyotomi Hideoshi. Oda's former vassal and right-hand man. With over 4,000 men in his service, a massive army was amassed within months, and at his side were his personal strike force, the Kuroi Ansatsu Sodan, or the Black Assassins, or Black Assassin Soul. Don't knock it, okay? The most feared and wanted gang of assassins that were notorious across Japan. They served as the local sheriff squad around the Kanto region, and his law was simple. Those who do not pay tax or show reverence to his name shall pay in one way or the other. Many of the brave men who did stand against Hideyoshi were either thrown into the dungeon, shot to death by firing squad, or done in by harakiri. There was one such man who did escape from the hell that he witnessed from Hideyoshi and the Soldan. An escapee Ronin, now turned feudal police officer by the name of Ichimonji Yamato. He's a firm believer of peace with a strong awareness of justice. To him, the land rightfully belongs to the people as well as the peace of the land. Due to his past exploits, his skill of the blade made him a force to be reckoned with, and quickly became the talk of the town. Because of this, he became the target of the Sultan. The villages across the Kanto region that felt persecuted heard of Yamato, and the small businesses flourished without fear or worry. One evening, while finishing his patrol around the outskirts of Edo, bandits overran Kiseki. However, he was unaware that these were not normal bandits, but they were the grunts of the Sodan. Yamato arrived on the scene, halting their advance on the assault on the village. Your sick game is over. Now you face me! Dropping the elderly shop owner on the fly, Yamato caught him, setting him to safety. In the midst of the crowd, a wandering swordsman tipped his hat while observing the fight with the Yoma bandit and the young police officer. With a smirk, the bandit ran away as the crowd grew closer around Yamato. Just as he vanished from sight, he saw that Yamato was not too far behind, unaware that he had him right where he wanted him. Don't know why that did that. Yamato found himself in the depth of a deep forest, lost and even more outnumbered as arrows rained down, pinning him hard to the ground as the head of Sodan appeared. One moment. Pardon. So, you're the one who's making Lord Hiyoshi's life miserable. Well, no matter. I, Sanzo So Migoze, shall enjoy killing you. With that said, Sanzo leapt off the branch, unleashing his attack on the helpless police officer as he struggled to free himself. Jikoku! Kuk! Yamato gasped as Sanzo's kick did some serious damage to his ribs. Pardon. As he spat up blood upon impact, with a sly grin, he leapt off as Yamato struggled to glance at Sanzo before his last breath. I swear you will not get away. When anger is ignited, a great and fearful power is born. Chapter 2. A Man Divided. Along the shores of Kyushu, the waves that crashed along the rocks were disturbed due to a shift of balance that recently transpired. A soft fire crackled as Yamato was resting on a blanket while his wounds were still healing. The swordsman, who was in Kiseki, had found his body losing a great deal of blood, so he had worked on his wounds shortly after the Sodan attack. Had he not shown in time, he would have not lived. Meanwhile, the entire countryside across the Kanto region was in a land of flame, with a blood-red hue covering the once peaceful blue sky. How was that? Hideoshi had made his move and took total quest of Japan. His first order of business was to confiscate the people's belongings as luxury tax. He then sent his men into various villages and kidnapping every working male to become his worker, along with the option of seeing everything they worked so hard become wiped out or heeding the call to Hideyoshi. The bandits took every female except the elderly away from the villages and placed them in chains only to be used by Hideyoshi. The last force that was under his command was the Yoma, in which they accepted the task to exhaust every resource that the people worked hard for. As night fell, Yamato gasped as he opened his eyes, very unaware of his surroundings. "You finally woke up, Yamato Ichimonji." He turned towards the swordsman with a slight nod as he was offered a bowl of mackerel soup. From the look of his attire, he did not look like a swordsman, but more along the lines of a monk or a medicine man. Nevertheless, regardless of appearance, he was indeed a master of the blade. But his art was different, in its own right unique. "I am Tachibana Ukkyo, but you may call me Tachibana." Yamato slowly sat up on his knees, bowing in thanks for saving his life, as he shuddered getting back on his feet. Yet his wounds weren't entirely healed. He suited up with sword in hand to make his journey back to the Kanto region. "If you're willing to fight evil, you'll need this." Yamato paused as he caught the sash, turning back to him slightly. He raised the brow at Tachibana while attaching his sash over his uniform, holding his sudden departure out of respect for him. "Do you know something, Tachibana?" "I know that if you go out there now, they'll kill you faster than you drawing your sword. Your potential, Yamato Ichimonji, but your anger for revenge needs to be channeled. I can teach you the art of Isen, as well as about the history of Hattori." "Hattori?" he asked. "That special wearing is endowed with special powers, and without special training, you'll not be able to use them." Yamato agreed to receive special training from Tachibana and promised that his regimen was not going to be easy, but the reward is well worth the wait. Justice comes in all forms. Lost Heritage. Chapter 3. Lost Heritage. Some time had passed since Yamato's disappearance. The people started to wonder exactly what happened to him. Many believed that he might be dead, taken into custody by Hideyoshi's men, and perhaps gone into exile. His influence and power spread as far as Hokkaido and Kyushu. Yes, I said Hokkaido. Not Hokkaido, but it's Hokkaido. As he held Japan in his iron grip. During this time, Yamato had progressed immensely in his training, and to Tachibana he was more than pleased with the results. His exercise included basic and advanced kenjutsu, energy tracking, as well as hand-to-hand combat. "Tachibana, what's with all this training? There's got to be a reason for this." Tachibana guided Yamato back in the cave as a nice fire heated up their abode, as he presented Yamato with a gigantic sword that was 4 times bigger as his regular katana. He tipped off his hat as he set the blade aside, sharing to Yamato an old prophecy, explaining the reason for his journey. "You want to know? I am training and honing your skills to a point where you'll not need a sword anymore. You'll become an invincible fighter, with only as the wind being your guide. You shall be known as the essence of wind, the Kamen Rider." Tachibana's words echoed through Yamato's mind as he asked Yamato to pick up the sword. It goes by the name Onibato. Legend has it that those with the will of true power may use it. Yamato tried to raise the blade, but its power simply overwhelmed him, and thus Tachibana introduced to him the last part of his training. The time has come to awaken your power, Yamato Ichimonji. Let's begin. Tachibana demonstrated by going into power stance and raising his right hand to the sky, while his left crossed over his heart. And after this was performed, he clenched his left fist, clashing it with his right open palm. What was that? Was something supposed to happen? Yamato questioned with a lifted brow. That was a henshin pose. It may seem that it doesn't do anything for me, but then again, I'm not a Kamen rider. He smirked, looking to Yamato as he stepped aside and watched. Taking a deep breath, he focused his energies into emulating the exact same position and movement that Tachibana did, and in doing so, Hattori awakened as the jewel began to glow a bright green. Pieces of white metal started to envelop around his body, and his face turned into armor and a face mask, which covered part of his face. Once he opened his eyes, they became green eye visors. Taking the Onibato in hand, he held it aloft to the moonlight as the prophecy finally happened. And I think I'm going to stop there. Yeah. So, yes, that is one of those stories I basically put time and effort into. Let me know what you think, and if you like it, please let me know in comments, and I might continue this some other time. So hopefully, yeah. I'll put a lot of thought into this story, so really, I hope you like it, and hopefully I'll see you soon with probably more fanfic goodness and possibly everything else. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, if you like what you see, please comment, like, subscribe, and share the goodness with the people of the interwebs. I will see you soon with more videos and more Let's Plays. So until then, take care, God bless, and of course, Tenkai Muso. This is the Tenkaichi speaking. I have spoken, and I am out!